Control feels comforting because it turns uncertainty into a plan. A person may organize, predict, check, schedule, correct, or supervise everything around them. From the outside, this can look responsible. Underneath, the need for control often comes from a fear that if life is not tightly managed, something painful will happen. The need for control is not the same as healthy responsibility. Responsible control says, I will prepare for what I can influence. Anxious control says, I must manage everything so nothing bad can surprise me. The first creates stability. The second creates exhaustion because life contains more variables than one person can hold. A child who grew up around chaos may learn control as survival. If adults were unpredictable, money was unstable, or emotions exploded without warning, watching every detail may have been protective. Later in life, the same strategy can continue even when the danger is gone. The body still remembers that surprises once had a cost. Control can show up as overplanning. Someone may create backup plans for backup plans, not because the event is complicated, but because uncertainty feels intolerable. A weekend trip becomes a spreadsheet of routes, restaurants, weather, parking, and emergency options. Planning helps. Panic planning traps the mind in imaginary problems. It can also appear in relationships. A controlling partner may want constant updates, quick replies, exact explanations, or agreement on every decision. The real fear may be abandonment, betrayal, or feeling powerless. But the method creates the very distance they fear because the other person starts feeling monitored instead of loved. Perfectionism is another form of control. If every detail is perfect, the person hopes criticism cannot enter. The project, outfit, home, or conversation is polished to reduce the chance of shame. But perfection keeps moving the finish line. The person is not only improving the work, they're trying to control how others judge them. Control gives a short burst of relief. Checking the door once reduces anxiety. Checking it 5 times may reduce anxiety again for a moment. That relief teaches repetition. The mind learns, I felt scared, I checked, and I felt better. Soon the checking becomes a ritual rather than a choice. The hidden cost is mental bandwidth. A person who tries to control every outcome has less energy for creativity, rest, humor, and connection. Their attention is always scanning for errors. Even when life is going well, they may not feel it because the mind is busy searching for the next loose screw. Workplaces often reward control at first. The detail-focused employee catches mistakes and meets deadlines. But if control becomes rigidity, the same person may struggle to delegate, trust colleagues, or adapt when plans change. Strength turns into bottleneck when nobody else is allowed to touch the process. A common misunderstanding is that letting go means becoming careless. Healthy letting go does not mean ignoring bills, deadlines, health, or promises. It means separating what is yours to influence from what is not yours to command. You can prepare for a conversation. You cannot control exactly how another person feels afterward. One practical exercise is sorting worries into 3 boxes: direct control, partial influence, and no control. Direct control includes your words, effort, preparation, spending, and boundaries. Partial influence includes relationships, team outcomes, and negotiations. No control includes weather, someone else's mood, market timing, and the past. Another step is practicing small uncertainties on purpose. Leave a minor message unanswered for 10 minutes. Let someone else choose the restaurant. Submit a good enough draft when the stakes are low. These are not games. They're training reps for the nervous system. The body learns that not controlling everything does not equal danger. Control also softens when people build trust in repair. Many controlling habits come from believing mistakes are catastrophic. But if you know how to apologize, adjust, ask for help, and fix problems, uncertainty becomes less terrifying. The goal shifts from preventing every crack to knowing how to mend cracks when they appear. Communication matters because controlling behavior often hides vulnerable emotion. Saying, "You never text fast enough," usually creates defense. Saying, "When I do not hear back after conflict, I notice abandonment fear," creates a different conversation. Vulnerability invites closeness. Control usually invites resistance. There are situations where strong control is appropriate. A surgeon, pilot, accountant, or safety inspector must follow exact procedures. The issue is whether that level of control is being used everywhere, including places that need flexibility, trust, or play. The right amount of control depends on the actual risk. The deeper question is often, what feeling am I trying not to feel if I stop controlling this? The answer may be fear, grief, helplessness, shame, or loneliness. When the underlying feeling is acknowledged, the behavior becomes less mysterious. You are not just managing details, you are protecting a younger fear. Freedom does not arrive all at once. It arrives when a person can say, "I will handle my part, and I will allow reality to be bigger than my plan." That sentence can feel frightening at first. Over time, it creates room for other people, for surprise, and for a life that does not require constant gripping. People need control because control promises safety. Sometimes it delivers. But when control becomes the only way to feel safe, the person becomes trapped by the very strategy that once protected them. The healthier path is not chaos. It is flexible strength. Prepare where it matters, repair when needed, and stop treating uncertainty as proof that disaster is coming. The need for control often begins as an attempt to feel safe. A person who grew up around unpredictability may learn to plan everything, check everything, and manage everyone's reactions. Control becomes a shield against surprise. It may work for practical tasks, but it becomes exhausting when applied to people, emotions, and outcomes that cannot be fully controlled. In relationships, control can hide inside helpful behavior. Someone may remind their partner repeatedly, correct small choices, or organize every plan because uncertainty makes them anxious. The partner may experience it as criticism or pressure. The controlling person may feel misunderstood because they believe they are preventing problems. Both experiences can be true at the same time. A healthier path is to sort control into 3 categories: what you can control, what you can influence, and what you must allow. You can control your preparation. You may influence a conversation. You cannot control another adult's every feeling, choice, or timing. This distinction lowers the pressure to manage life like a machine. Needing control does not make someone bad. It often means their nervous system is trying to avoid helplessness. But peace does not come from controlling everything. It comes from building enough trust in your ability to respond. When response feels possible, uncertainty becomes less threatening, and control can become a tool instead of a cage. A practical exercise is to choose one low-risk place to loosen control. Let someone else choose the restaurant, leave a non-urgent message unanswered for an hour, or allow a plan to be good enough instead of perfect. Small experiments teach the body that uncertainty is uncomfortable, but not always unsafe. That lesson is what makes flexibility possible.